Y-3 Terrex Swift R3 are an amazing pair of shoes with some definite pros and cons. So I have the low top version right here, and then I have the high top version, the all black, which I think look just like completely devastating. I love the minimalism. These are the black with orange and white colorway as well. The low top version has a zipper on the upper here and an all synthetic fabric, kind of ripstop fabric kind of vibe on the upper. And then there's this rubber toe box here, which is pretty protective overall. And then the outsole has a bit of foam here, as well as like a plasticky heel guard right here, or heel thingy. I don't know what this is called. And then there's lugs on the bottom, which are very similar to the Adidas Terrex line of like hiking sneakers. They're beautiful design per usual. So Y-3 and Adidas, it is a collaboration between Yohji and Adidas. However, it's like a heightened version of Adidas, and these are not Adidas normal prices. Like these, I believe new are about $350 US, if not 400. I got these on sale for about $170, which I think is a very reasonable price for shoes of this caliber because they feel super high quality. The stitching looks perfect. There is a little bit of like glue that's exposed. It's a little hard to see in camera, but there are a few like imperfections on here, but overall, especially at that $160 or $170 price point, these feel like a very high quality shoe. So when it comes to sizing on these are hugely oversized. So my normal size in Adidas is 10.5 usually, sometimes a 10, usually 10.5. But in Y-3, I usually get 10, but I tried a 10 in these and they were way too big, almost like a size too big. So I then tried a 9.5. It still felt a tiny bit big, but I think that's a sweet spot because I also tried a 9 and those were kind of way too small. So size down an entire Adidas size or a half size in your normal Y-3 size. And they do have Gore-Tex lining, which you can kind of see on the inside, maybe not so much, but there's like this lining here, which is like a webbed lining here, as well as I would assume there's Gore-Tex like worked into this textile upper here, which means that these are basically waterproof, weatherproof. And when you unzip the upper here, you'll see that there is straight up a gusseted tongue, and it's like the entire tongue is actually the gusset. Is that a thing? I'm not a shoe expert. It's not like stretchy or anything, but it feels like a webbing that would be really good like if you were to dunk your entire foot in water or something, especially when this is zipped up. Like there's a really nice tight seal on your foot going all the way up to here, which is kind of my big gripe with these ones, honestly. With the low top version, once you put your foot in this and you zip it up, it feels nice and tight, but it's almost too tight. When this part of the shoe hits, I guess, above the ankle on the front of my foot, it just kind of rubs against that. And these to me were just like immediately a return kind of situation for me. They are a beautiful shoe and they do feel very protective. They're thick, they're heavy, they're chunky. These lugs also are very, very like rubbery. They're very grippy. Like these were like squeak maniacs, what the hell? These squeak a lot when you're on like tile surfaces, polished concrete surfaces or something. They're loud on squeaky surfaces. And ultimately it's this zipper mechanism which is making me not want these shoes, and why I'm definitely leaning more towards the high top version, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, these low tops look amazing. I love the way these look. This black upper with the kind of off-white creamy midsole and outsole situation here with the orange accent. I just think this particular colorway of the low top shoe I think looks amazing, even with these white lugs, which will immediately get dirty, of course. The aesthetic of that, I think these would actually age really nicely once you start getting these actually like on a hike. But I don't think I would hike in these because the zipper situation, it's way too tight on the top of my foot. They're a little heavy, which is a little concerning, like it would kind of use more of the muscles in your legs and feet, which may be a good thing for some people, but for me, I think I would want like a lighter weight shoe if I'm actually hiking with these. And then the insole is this incredibly thin, like kind of foamy thing. It does have the Y-3 branding, which is nice, but it's just super thin. Like it doesn't do a whole lot. So even when I exchanged this insole out for like Dr. Scholl's, you know, like padded gel kind of insert, they still felt pretty stiff. And I think it's due to this gigantic plasticky rubber-ish hybrid outsole and I guess midsole. Maybe this is kind of foam, but I guess it's mostly the outsole, which is like super hard, very rugged, like very supportive, but the shoe just does not, like I'm trying to bend this shoe and it just like barely bends anywhere. So it's a very stiff ride and it just makes me not want to walk around in these things. Especially because I have recently developed plantar fasciitis, which really sucks, and I need heel support and kind of a squishier bounce to my shoes. And I've realized that if this heel area does not scrunch up at all, which this is just like stiff as hell, I won't wear these shoes because they will just completely tear my feet up. However, let's talk about the high top shoe, because it kind of like saved the day and it surprised me a little bit with these shoes, a lot. It surprised me a lot. So honestly, I didn't think I would like the high tops as much because there is a lot going on here with this shoe slash, I guess it's more of a boot. There's things flying everywhere. It's less of a minimalistic shoe. It's a gorgeous shoe, but there's a lot more going on. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of all this branding that's like super visible on there. And Gore-Tex shoes in general, I don't know why they put Gore-Tex on like every Gore-Tex shoe just all over the damn place. It's a little more tasteful on this one until you unwrap it a little bit. And once you get these freaking laces out a little bit, you unzip it, which is hard to do. And guess what? There's an even bigger Gore-Tex logo on the inside right there, which kind of irks my soul. Like, we get it. It has Gore-Tex. And it's also bright red with white on there. It's like, why would you put a red tongue with a gigantic logo that isn't even like the brand name of the shoe? It has Gore-Tex technology, but it's a Y-3 Adidas shoe. I just said Adidas. Is it Adidas or Adidas? What do you say? Let me know in the comments. But anyway, yeah, very strange branding. And honestly, like the branding over here, I'm not a huge fan of that. I would rather the shoe just kind of let the design speak for itself. That's a personal preference. I tend to like more, I guess, minimalistic footwear, minimalistic clothing in general, which is actually why I love Yohji Yamamoto so much as a designer. But that said, I actually really liked, I love these shoes actually, these boots. The high top version of the R3 Swift Terrex Gore-Tex, whatever it's called. These things are awesome, and I think these might be the ones that I actually keep. I'm still gonna test them a little bit, but as you can see, they're a lot busier. Like there's a lot more going on with this shoe than the low top version. The low top version is a lot more minimal. You know, there's no laces on this one, but on the high top version, there's laces, and there's also a zipper thing with a cover for the top of the zipper up here once it's zipped all the way up. And the zipper mechanism on the high tops works so much better for my foot. Even when you zip it all the way to the top here, it doesn't dig into the foot the way the low top version does when it's zipped up. It's tight up there. It's definitely tight. So I actually have to make it a little bit, you know, not at the top, but it has the lacing system on there too, which is really nice. So you can have that nice kind of tight fit on the zipper when it's zipped all the way up, but then you also lace it up to give it even more of a customized fit onto your shoe. I really like that. I actually like the high top version way more than I like the low top version. And the high top version actually has a little bit of squeeze in the toe box, so it has more give and it feels like it kind of propels my foot without squishing the toe box area like the low tops were doing. The high top version is softer. It's just a nicer feel when I'm actually walking around. It feels more functional. It has the same lug pattern and lug height as the low top version of the shoe. It's a really attractive shoe. I don't usually personally go for all white shoes because they just feel dirty immediately and they make me not want to wear them. But I feel like this shoe would actually age really nicely. Like once I actually would take this on a trail, which I actually would in these, they're pretty comfortable. And because it has this kind of futuristic, almost like straight out of Dune or something kind of aesthetic, you know, all the dirt, all the scratches and stuff would get embedded into the shoe. It would add to the life and the aesthetic of the shoe. It's a boot, but it's also a sneaker. Like when you put it on, it feels like it's just a high top sneaker, but it's also a boot and it also has Gore-Tex, so it's also very weatherproof. And they're soft and plushy, like, and they have a ton of ankle support. Like on the upper here, this is super thick. It's so thick up here. And the ripstop fabric on there just feels like a really nice quality. And it just feels more plush and it wraps around the foot really nicely with the added bonus of the lacing system. The outsole on the shoe, because it is that same kind of rubber continental Adidas Terrex kind of lug situation, it is a little bit hard. It does take a little bit to get used to, but it doesn't hurt my foot, the one that's infected with plantar fasciitis. It makes it a little sensitive, but it's tolerable tolerable. And then when I added a Dr. Scholl's insole into this boot, it got even better, and it's so much more plush and like gel-like on my feet now. I could see myself wearing these like all day, maybe not all day, but for at least a couple hours, definitely for at least a hike. I think these would do pretty well. I think I might keep these. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think of the Y-3, here we go, Terrex Swift R3 Gore-Tex, low top, high top? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it all the way to the end, leave a dolphin emoji in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, subscribe down below if you found it useful. Have an awesome day. I will see you in the next video.